Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 1 Samuel, the 23rd chapter. David delivers Keilah, and at this point, right, we had seen Saul put to death the priests of the Lord. After accusing them of conspiring with David, but the Lord has it to where Abiathar, right, being the son of Ahimelech, escapes and comes to seek refuge with David. Then they told David, saying, "Behold, the Philistines fight against Keilah, and they rob the threshing floors." So the Philistines are invading there, and the threshing floors where the harvest and the grains and the crops and all that are, they basically pillaging that. Therefore David inquired of the Lord, saying, "Shall I go and smite these Philistines?" And the Lord Yahweh said unto David, "Go and smite the Philistines, and save Keilah." And David's men said unto him, "Behold, we be afraid here in Judah. How much more then if we come to Keilah against the armies of the Philistines?" So it's already bad enough, here in Judah that we got to hide for our lives. And now you want us to go and fight the Philistines? Then David inquired of the Lord yet again. And the Lord answered him and said, "Arise, go down to Keilah, for I will deliver the Philistines into thine hand." So don't worry. Yep, I said what I said. Go over there. You're going to be good. So David and his men went to Keilah and fought with the Philistines, and brought away their cattle, and smote them with a great slaughter. So David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. And it came to pass, when Abiathar the son of Ahimelech fled to David in Keilah, that he came down with an ephod in his hand. And the ephod had, I believe, within the breastplate, the special stones, the Urim and the Thummim, that would allow them to consult with the Lord. And the scriptures don't really go into details about the behind the scenes mechanisms of how it worked, but it was a sure means of being able to ask the Lord or inquire certain things of the Lord, and being able to get an answer. So it's important. It was good that Ahimelech brought that, and that's how David was also able to inquire whether he should go down there, and or in other matters he inquired of at the Lord. And it was told Saul that David was come to Keilah, and Saul said, "God hath delivered him into mine hand. Oh, for he is shut in by entering into a town that hath gates and bars." So by going into that area, which is like a gated, city, it's easy because I can just go in and besiege him, and he's going to be trapped in there. He's not going to have an easy escape. And Saul called all the people together to war, to go down to Keilah, to besiege David and his men. So he gathered up his army, and they were ready. He said, as long as he's still there, I'm going to come and surround the city, and at that point, we'll just close in on him. And David knew that Saul secretly practiced mischief against him, so he got word that this is what Saul was planning. And he said to Abiathar the priest, "Bring hither the ephod." Then said David, "O Lord Yahweh, God of Israel, thy servant hath certainly heard that Saul seeketh to come to Keilah, to destroy the city for my sake. Will the men of Keilah deliver me up into his hand? Will Saul come down, as thy servant hath heard? O Lord, God of Israel, I beseech thee, tell thy servant." And the Lord said, "He will come down." Then said David, "Will the men of Keilah deliver me and my men into the hand of Saul?" So when he comes, they're gonna betray me, or they're gonna turn me over to him? And the Lord said, "They will deliver thee up." Then David and his men, which were about 600, arose and departed out of Keilah, and went whithersoever they could, or they could go. So they left there and basically just went about trying to find somewhere that they could seek refuge. And it was told Saul that David was escaped from Keilah, and he forbore to go forth. So once he heard, oh, David's not there anymore, he ended up calling off the you know the invasion, or the plan to go in there. And David abode in the wilderness in strongholds, and remained in a mountain in the wilderness of Ziph. And those strongholds and like the mountain, these were particular like geographical areas where, it would be easy, like caves, or certain clefts of mountains, or certain forest like areas where the terrain would make it easier for them to be able to hide there. And we're talking about places where also it's not as like open. So if you wanted to make your way in to a specific location, there was only one walkable path, for example, that you would have to go through, or it was limited. And this gave them the natural defense and the oversight to be able to see if anybody was approaching, right, or to be able to stop and defend, being that there was limited ways to get to wherever it is that David and his men would be hiding. So they basically took advantage of the terrain, found good hiding places to dwell, to keep themselves low, right, against Saul's pursuit. And Saul sought after him every day, but God delivered him not into his hand. So time and time again, the Lord would give David the heads up, and they couldn't be found by Saul. And David saw that Saul was come out to seek his life, and David was in the wilderness of Ziph in a wood. So David heard word that Saul was after him again. This time he was dwelling in, as it says, in a wood. So this is like more like a foresty area. And Jonathan, Saul's son, arose and went to David into the wood and strengthened his hand in God. So basically, he spoke to him, encouraged him, got his spirits up, boosted up his faith. And he said unto him, Fear not, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find thee. And thou shalt be king over Israel, and I shall be next unto thee. So don't worry, you for sure you're going to be king, and I'll be your right-hand man. And that Saul also my father knoweth. So that's the reason he's after you so bad is because he knows this. And they two made a covenant before the Lord Yahweh, and David abode in the wood, and Jonathan went to his house. Then came up the Ziphites to Saul to Gibeah, saying, Doth not David hide himself with us in the strongholds in the wood, in the hill of Hakilah, which is in the south of Jeshimon? So, well, we spotted David over here. So they basically went to snitch. That we've gotten word that David is within these regions over here. Now therefore, O king, come down according to all the desire of thy soul to come down, and our part shall be to deliver him into the king's hand. So we'll work with you. You just gotta, whenever you're ready to come down, we'll find David, we'll catch him and his men, and we'll bring them to you. And Saul said, Ah, blessed be ye of the Lord, for ye have compassion on me. Go, I pray you, prepare yet, and know and see his place where his haunt is. And that haunt meaning like where his foot, or like where his dwelling is. And who hath seen him there? For it is told me that he dealeth very subtly. So, go and gather more details, in his hiding place, if anybody has seen him there, and just confirm, bring me solid evidence, because, he's very cunning, he's very sneaky. See therefore and take knowledge of all the lurking places where he hideth himself, and come ye again to me with the certainty, and I will go with you. So go ahead, like I said, go and find out all the different hiding places he has, right? All the areas he could sneak through, and basically give me a layout. then I'll come and get him. And it shall come to pass, if he be in the land, that I will search him out throughout all the thousands of Judah. So this way, when Saul is basically saying this way, when I come there and he is there, it doesn't matter where he's hiding, I'll find him, because I'll know all his hiding spots, and I'll know all the different areas he can try to escape from. And they arose and went to Ziph before Saul. But David and his men were in the wilderness of Maon. So they moved from that area to another area, likely having the heads up of the Lord, in the plain on the south of Jeshimon. Saul also and his men went to seek him, and they told David, wherefore he came down into a rock or a cave, and abode in the wilderness of Maon. And when Saul heard that, he pursued after David in the wilderness of Maon. And Saul went on this side of the mountain, and David and his men on that side of the mountain. So now, basically, the pursuit was getting closer and closer to where now, as Saul's men were closing in, you had David on one side, you had Saul on the other side of the mountain. And it was basically just about to be a matter of time before Saul's men caught up. And David made haste to get away for fear of Saul. So him and his men, they're probably running, running through the bushy areas, all of that, just trying to, get out of there. For Saul and his men compassed David and his men round about to take them. But there came a messenger unto Saul, saying, Haste thee and come, for the Philistines have invaded the land. So the Lord was like, not on my watch. And just like that, the Lord had it to where, he put the spirit on the Philistines. Oh, Saul's not here. They started invading the land. So now Saul had to stop, where he was. It's like when you watch those dramatic movies or TV shows, one of them being like Money Heist, right? If you've ever seen that. If you haven't, it's a good one. You should check it out. And just when they're closing in and you're like, damn, they got this guy. There's no way he's escaping that. Something external happens, right? The guy gets a phone call and they're just like, hey, you need to come here right now. And then he's like, shit. So he calls his men back, calls the troops, and then they all, leave. Something like that. Verse 28, wherefore Saul returned from pursuing after David and went against the Philistines. Therefore they called that place Selah Amalekoth. And when you look into that, it goes into what was it? I think deliverance by the rocks. Let's go into that. Yeah, that's a long Hebrew word right there. But it says here the cliff of escapes or cliff of divisions. Yeah. Good to know. So as it says, and David went up from thence and dwelt in strongholds in En-gedi. So he was able to escape from there, and then went to En-gedi, and then once again made their camps around there. And just like that, the Lord delivered David out of the hands of Saul yet again. And with that, that'll be the end of 1 Samuel, the 23rd chapter. And Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kodesh. And until next time, Shalom.